Borda Blant, Croeso, welcome to Mr. Richards' Monday Assembly. Hope you've had a nice, restful weekend. It's been a bit of a strange one. We spoke all last week about how things have changed over the last week or so, but I guess that most of us are sort of settling down a little bit and getting used to being at home. And I hope you've been doing just that, staying at home, being sensible, maybe popping up for some exercise with your parents, being careful, washing your hands and doing all the things that you've been advised to do. Now, I was just listening to a song there called Dr. Robert by the Beatles. And the reason I've been listening to that is because today is National Doctors' Day. And I'm sure lots of you last week stood on your steps and clapped at 8 o'clock on a specific day to celebrate the amazing effort of all the NHS, all the nurses and all the workers and all the doctors, to thank them for their massive efforts, because at the moment they're working flat out to try and make sure the world is a safer place in really difficult times. And there's lots of people on the NHS who are working long hours to support our society. So today is National Doctors' Day, so I thought we'd have a little look at what doctors actually do and what they use. Now, you probably go to visit a doctor sometimes when you're not feeling very well. Where do you go to see a doctor? That's right. You probably go to the surgery with your mum and dad. We have to make an appointment and the doctor will be there in their room, and you go and they talk to you and ask you what's wrong, and they give you it starts with a D, what they actually do. They tell you there's something wrong with you. They make a diagnosis. So they may tell you you've got a chest infection, or they may tell you you've got a bit of a cough, and then they give you some medicine. Okay, you see a doctor in the hospital as well, so sometimes you have to go to the hospital to see a doctor. Maybe you go to the out-of-hours surgery when your surgery isn't available. There are lots of specialist doctors in the hospital who specialise in certain areas, so doctors who specialise in eyes and nose and throat and all different parts of the human body. But when you go and see a doctor, they can't just look at you and decide what's wrong when they make the diagnosis. They've got to use special tools. I wonder if you know some of the tools that doctors use. Some of them have got big names, so I had to write them down. It's difficult to remember them, but you may recognise them from some of the pictures I've got here. So there's two instruments there that they use. What do they do? You may recognise them. One is called an otoscope, and that is that one there. That's the otoscope. And the other one is called an ophthalmoscope. Now this one on my left hand side, that is used to look inside your ears. So they have a look in your ear just to see maybe you've got a blockage in there, or maybe you've got an infection or something. And then this one, that looks in your, that's right, in your eyes. So the doctors will use those two to look in your ears and in your eyes to see, to check if they may notice something that isn't quite right. Okay. Now then, the next one you probably will know. Lots of people will have had this one used on them. What's that one called? Go on, shout it out. That's right. That's called a stethoscope. What's a stethoscope used for? Yeah, that's right. The doctor will put the stethoscope on your chest and they hear it because it goes in your ears, and they can listen for sounds in your body. Maybe your chest is rattling a little bit, maybe they can hear something in there, maybe you've got an infection or something not quite right in your breathing apparatus of your body. That's right, so that's a stethoscope. Now then, the next one we've got is this one here. What's that one called there? Or what does that one do? Put it on your finger. It's called a pulse oximeter, and that checks your pulse, and your pulse tells you, that's right, it tells you your heart rate, so how fast your heart is beating. Now you can find your heart in your chest, you can do that yourself, or you can find your other pulse on your wrist by putting two fingers on your wrist, and also just below your ear, so you can actually test your own pulse to see if your pulse rate is about right. Yeah. And a child's pulse, probably around about 80 is about okay. Don't worry if it's a little bit higher or a little bit lower. And an adult pulse rate, I believe, is around about 60 plus. Depends on what you're doing. So if you're doing exercise, it's going to go up. Yeah. And the more rigorous the exercise you've got, the higher your pulse rate is going to be. But the doctor will check your pulse to see if you're okay. If it's too high or too low, then they can help you out. Now then, the next one, what's that there? You've probably seen one of those recently. What's that called? That's right, it's a thermometer. It's an infrared thermometer. When I was little, the doctor had a long thermometer, and perhaps they put it under your armpit, or sometimes they put it in your mouth, as they could test your body temperature. Of course, that's a little bit, it's not really clean to do that these days. So these machines, it wasn't clean in those days, I suppose, but it's a lot healthier and cleaner if you use one of these, and your parents may point at your forehead and test your temperature. And of course, during the coronavirus, we've got to be careful because temperature is one of the symptoms of having the coronavirus. Now then, what's the last thing we can see here? Oops, let's get that right. What's that there? What's that used for? It's got a really long name. It's called a sphygmomanometer, which is for testing your blood pressure. And the doctor may put it around your wrist or under your lower arm, squeeze, pump it up, and it feels really tight on your arm, and that's how they find out your blood pressure. So there's all these sort of instruments that a doctor may use. You may have some in the house. Some of you may play doctors. I know I did when I was little. A bit old for that now. But yeah, it's good fun, isn't it, to have a look at all those amazing things that doctors use, which they keep when they go out to your house. They'll keep in a special bag, usually a leather bag that's got to be locked. And there's other instruments in there as well. They may have a reflex hammer, which they may tap you on the knee with to test your reflexes. And also they may have a tongue suppressor, which when they want to look down your throat, they put on your tongue and you say, I was up to tune. That's a bit better. And they test then to see, have a look into your mouth and down your throat. Okay, so if you know any doctors, and I know some of our parents are doctors, I know Tega and Maro's mum is a doctor down at the Princess of Wales, and there are other doctors in our community that often come to our school. If you see them, say hello, say well done, and thanks for everything they're doing at the moment, and to all the nurses and all the other NHS workers as well. Now then, lots of amazing things going on with Richard's School at the moment online. I know there's lots of work that teachers have put out for you to do. Some of it's on here, on YouTube, some of it's on Facebook, some of it's on Twitter and all the rest of it. So you may be keeping up there's some sporty stuff you can do. We've got some musical challenges going on, lots of artistic stuff. Class teachers are getting responses from some of the pupils. I know one or two of the teachers are waiting, not getting a massive response, but it was a lovely week last week. You're probably enjoying the weather. But I know Mrs. Matthews was wondering what 5M were up to. We had a chat and she said, I don't mind them out enjoying themselves, but maybe next week they need to get online and do some of the work they've set for me. So 5M, let's see you. We can check to see who's been doing their work. So you need to do some work now online as well. So if you finished all the paper-based stuff, time to log into your Hub accounts, go onto Google Classrooms and do a little bit of work. However, I had noticed that amongst all the challenges and work we have been setting, maybe there's another sort of challenge that children would like to take part in, and it's the kind of work you can do at any time. You don't really need to have anything set for you. You can just go at it, and that's something I used to love doing when I was a young boy, and that's writing stories. Hands up how many people like to write stories. Yeah, you read books, which are usually stories, with fiction books that you're reading, and then you get ideas of what you can write. So I'm going to set you a little challenge. I'm going to say to people, I want you to write me a 500-word story. 500 is about 2 sides of A4. If you're typing it out, you can use your count on Microsoft Word to tell you how many words it is. It doesn't matter if you go a bit over, it doesn't matter if it's less, but let's say 500. If it goes any longer, it takes forever to read. And I'm saying that because you can send them to me and I'm going to read them. And I will hopefully post them up on the website as well. So the good, well, not the good ones, suitable ones that, are ready to go, can go up on the website. I'll read some of them out as well, maybe on one of my assemblies or maybe during the week, so you can hear. I mean, you could read your story out too, so you can actually send a video or post the video below if you'd like to read your story. If you'd like me to read it, you need to send it to me. Now then, I've got a few ideas here, because maybe sometimes starting a story from scratch is difficult to do. And we know how we usually do a story. We have an introduction, we have a build-up, we have a problem, we resolve the problem, it gets fixed. There's a battle or something happens, there's a piece of action, and then you've got your ending to your story. But still, you've got to start somewhere. So here's a few ideas for you. How about, as I walked along the beach, I saw an unusual shell. What happens? Is there something inside the shell? Do you touch the shell and something magical happen? Up to you. There was a flash of lightning. I looked outside, and there in my garden was... What was it? Tell me. The ball sailed through the air. I looked up, caught it in my hands, on my feet, and there's a sports story there for you, a sports person. What happened next? Maybe you've got to build up to that point. Up to you. I'm going to start that sentence, but it may help. I pulled out the book from the library shelf when an old photograph fell out. What was on that photograph? Why was it there? Did you touch the photograph? Did it get bigger? Did it disappear? Can you go inside the photograph? Let me know. 500 words, that's the challenge. And if you want to send me the story, my email address on the hub is there. Can you see that? Ooh, it's a bit big, there we are. richardsd147@hubcymru.net. I'll put it on the Facebook post so you can see it. Yeah, if you email that story to me, I'm not going to pick the best one, but I will read some of those out. And I really enjoy doing that. And I will respond to each one. Okay, I will send back and say, wow, that's an interesting story. Well, that scared me. That was a bit strange. But I look forward to it. Hope you enjoyed the assembly. Have a lovely Monday. It's the start of a new week. Think positive. Listen to some music. Read a book. Go outside. Do some exercise. Do some schoolwork. 2 or 3 hours. A little bit more. A little bit less. Depends how hard you're working, I suppose. Enjoy your week. Tomorrow's assembly will be from Mrs. Harris. We're going to have a Welsh assembly tomorrow. So, tune in the morning. Bye now. See you later. Walk back to class. Take your time.